number 2 in X30 Juniors.
Ready and waiting then for Junior X30 Heat number 2. Drivers are in the waiting zone, and let's see how they'll line up in just a few moments. Charlie Field will lead them away from Finley Harrison, Ellis Bourchier in 3rd, Jerome Phillip in 4th, Joshua Patterson and Kyle Slee in 6th place. Rest of the top 10 made up of Milo Pilford, Christian Brooks, Scott Smith, Rito Kamata. Further back, Olivier Algieri, Vinnie Lloyd-Chamberlain in 12th place, Benedict Davis in 13th position from Zaki Hussein, Lorenzo Cordell, Jody Pettit in 16th place, Benjamin Watts, Dane Tucker in 18th position, Lucas Ellingham in 19th from Thomas Mullett, Daniel Hackett 21st from Mackenzie Stevens, Sam Baker and Jaden Gregg. Jude Fernhoff in 25th position from Macy Hitter, Alex Johnston, Sam Longley 28th, and taking us down to 30th, Reece Blakely and Kian Gamiao. Rest of the grid made up of Kian Gohill, Hugo Gilbert in 32nd, Remy Gilbert 33rd, and Kai Carrington rounding out the field. So hopefully we'll see Pettit out in action in this race. Of course, he tipped the cart in the previous race, looked a bit shaken up. So hopefully he's lining up as well. 1 or 2 again, drivers a bit further back in this second heat. So mixing things up once again for heat number 2.
Yeah, and on that note, actually, we never got round to confirming what the result of that red flag race was. So just to confirm, it was Lucas Ellingham who was scored as the winner of that one ahead of Lorenzo Cordell. So he did get by in time enough to be registered as the winner of that one. Alex Johnston in 3rd, Christian Brooks was 4th, 5th for Zaki Hussein, Milo Pilford in 6th, Olivier Algieri in 7th, 8th was Sam Baker, 9th was Finley Harrison, and Rita Kamata rounded out your top 10. I'm just waiting to see. Pettit actually got classified in 29th, so he got some points, but we'll see. We'll see. Did seem fundamentally okay after that incident. We weren't, we weren't concerned for his fundamental health. He was seen interacting with marshals there, although he was just taken off as a precautionary in the medical car that we have here. He will have been checked over. We will see if he or indeed his cart are in a condition that enable him to rejoin the action for this one. But that is how they were scored anyway for X30 Juniors earlier on. And indeed, this was also the race that saw the long full course yellow period.
Yeah, that's right. It was in effect, it was a shortened race, wasn't it? Because about 3 or 4 laps at the start were under those controlled conditions under the full course yellow, so we're under a bit of a pace lap almost. The engines are being fired up in the waiting zone, and drivers making their way out onto the track again. That just task of getting the carts up to temperature. Tyres, of course, especially these competition tyres, important to get them up to working temperature as they make their way around on this formation warm-up lap. And again, look how aggressively, again, swerving all over the track to get the tyres up to temperature. It's not the warmest day today here at Wilton Mill. It's warmer than on the forecast, and it actually is. There's a nasty northerly breeze out there, and I think the track temperature is still pretty cold, so drivers working very hard to get them up to temperature. It says 12 degrees on the weather at the moment, but out on the track, and I'm sure the marshals will agree to this, it feels colder than that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I wonder if it's a case of, with that wind, a sort of, what do they call it, a real feel, what it really feels like temperature-wise. But there is at least almost a negligible chance of rain. As Charlie Field in the 23 there on your right, driver's left. We'll be hoping to get this one underway. And it's a full start.
Didn't look very good to him to begin with. They were all jostling to get back into position very late there. So early call there for the full start, and drivers will circulate once again. Like I say, another chance to get the machines warmed up, whether that's artificial or not.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. But yeah, they will indeed go round. Try and get as much heat as they can into the tyres. Through Ashby they go.
You would say, of course, perhaps from the first timer's point of view, it is important that the drivers are in position for the start correctly. Damages the integrity of the race, of course, doesn't it? So these aren't called off lightly, are they?
No. The flag marshals or even the clerk of the course, are making the right calls with this. I'm practicing, some people would call me a cynic. I'm merely practicing reasonable skepticism as to why we may be seeing quite so many. But let's see if this time round we can go into formation and into the tram lines. And no, we can't.
Oh, it's trouble towards the back there again, wasn't there?
It is.
Again, these guys at the front here, they're just trying to punch the field of hazards there, right, of course, as the people at the front. So
yeah, and I do understand that if you're on the anti-pole side of the grid, which is driver's right, you have to take a very tight exit out of the last corner, which can make you feel uncompetitive relative to those to your left who are on, at least at the start of that straight, they're on the racing line,
the first corner,
and they have the inside line from the first corner. So I can understand that, but yeah, they've got to get themselves into those tram lines nice and neatly and not lean on each other as they come through. There's no point with the right-hand side of the grid trying to, I'll just pretend I'm on the left and get as much advantage as I can, because the marshals will be wise to that.
I'd say another thing here for the first time viewers, also somebody who's quite new to this, is it looks straightforward. It's harder than it appears when you're actually in the grid, because you've got to maintain your position as well.
It is. I will grant that. I do acknowledge that. It is a lot harder there in person. Although you can see the marshal there
telling them off,
quite pointedly saying, now get it right. Are they going to do so this time? No.
It was.
And I do think here that maybe the marshals and the clerk of the course are being thorough. They're basically saying, no, okay, if you're not going to get this right, say some of them look like they were racing up to Christmas corner to be just then. But I think this is them being a bit cruel to be kind in terms of instilling the right mentality to this.
Oh, there's a red flag gone out actually, so I think they've had enough.
Yeah, this could be a red flag for talking to.
Yeah, I don't believe this is because of an accident or trouble. It's just purely, I think they've lost a bit of patience with the drivers, it would appear. And like you say, I think you mentioned there a few moments ago, Howard, it's not the sort of thing where they'll have 2 or 3 full starts and think, we'll just let it go on anyway. They're going to do it properly, aren't they?
I think it's important to set, for them to set the precedent that we are going to do this start correctly, and I'm not here to tell drivers off or anything like that. The clerk of the course might be if they keep on doing this. In fact,
they've gone straight
to pits. But yeah, I can understand the frustration there, because I think this class, I'm pretty sure we saw about 3 or 4 start attempts in the last heat as well, and I think there's just a general frustration here. So we remain to be seen whether this one's actually going to run. I'm just going to look out and see if our next class, the X30 seniors, I believe it is, are in the holding area. They are.
Yeah, they're waiting and ready, aren't they? So
I'm not sure if it could be that the clerk of the course here is taking no more nonsense on this one and is just going to call this one off, as would be his right to do so, it has to be said. And yeah, it's not good when it takes 4 start attempts, and there was no obvious, there was no one off the back of the pack with a cart issue or coming to a stop. It was just a positional thing. So we will just hold station here for a second as we try and work out what's going to happen next with this.
So yeah, just to recap, of course, this red flag, because if you didn't catch it a few moments ago, it's not because of an incident, it's purely because of incorrect behaviour at the start, you would say, in repeated full starts.
Yeah, and as I say, setting a precedent here that we're not just going to go lax on it, after 5 attempts and go, we'll go on then, that'll do.
Yeah, it's like you say, it's how it should be, isn't it?
Yeah, it's instilling the right ethic, I suppose, into the this X30 junior field. I'm going to imagine from all of the carts that are now being vacated that
looking out of our commentary booth here, the seniors actually are sat in their carts and ready to go.
I think they may have called this one off.
So I presume this would be postponed, wouldn't it? And perhaps one a bit later on, perhaps after the seniors are sticking my head out here and just speculating, I think. But
potentially, I think we're going to look ahead here.